Jet Set Radio Future dabbles in plenty of genres, but its primary genre is big beat. It's a sample-based form of electronic music using breakbeats, turntablism, chopping, some techno techniques, and hip-hop styles. It's usually in 120 to 140 BPM. It's a very like pop music BPM. It takes a lot of elements from other things like UK garage and French house. They're all closely related. And I'll recommend you some albums if you're getting tired of the soundtrack by now. 1. Fat of the Land by Prodigy. One thing common in these UK genres is fairly long track time. Here, I don't think it really works in the album's favor. Like, after a bunch of tracks, they don't really evolve and they get grating. Despite that, though, the tracks have very addictive and unique grooves. So, I consider this one of the essentials. Album 2, Decksanddrumsandrockandroll by the Propellerheads. Those guys that made that one song from the Matrix scene. This album, it's a perfect blend of hype and chill tracks. You can easily survive the 2.5 hour runtime. But hey, if that's too long, at least it's split up into 2 discs, each 1.5 hours long. Album 3, You've Come a Long Way, Baby, by Fatboy Slim. I'd say this is probably the most famous Big Beat album. You know the one with Fatboy Slim is fucking in heaven. That one. Or famous Willem Dafoe dancing song, Rockefeller Skank. Actually, that's Christopher Walken. Anyway. Yeah, that's this album. I think it's one of the ones that most directly inspired the soundtrack of JSRF. It has plenty of hip-hop and light synth work. Definitely recommend this out of the 3 essentials, as I'm going to call them, the most. Next album. Justice, cross, parentheses, Justice. Honestly, I think this is one of the best albums like I've ever heard in general. Some fantastic progressions and refrains. This album is pretty much known for dance, or D-A-N-C-E. But it's also got great tracks like Phantom Part 1 and 2 and DVNO. Definitely like good Daft Punk feel, but more aggressive. Next one, Rooty by Basement Jaxx. Underrated, completely underrated. It's very clean, glitzy sound than usual big beat. Not really as aggro as, say, Justice. Lots of electro and disco elements. Pretty house music-y. I think pretty roller rink style music, you know? Easy to vibe to. 9. If you want something more on the chill side, you can always listen to Since I Left You by the Avalanches. This is more in the domain of like plunder phonics or even like psychedelic hip-hop. More vibey sample-based stuff. Avalanches sample a lot of soul, euro disco, and funk. So the album is very chill, down-tempo. Breaks are nice. Really think the title track itself, Since I Left You, is excellent. Definitely worth a listen. Another more mellow one, Surrender by the Chemical Brothers. Probably one of the more famous names on this list. This album has a nice blend of exciting and mellow tracks. But there are some stinkers like Hey Boy, Hey Girl. One of the most annoying songs I've ever heard. And Out of Control, which is just way too long. But overall, it's a fairly decent album. And my last recommendation, this really isn't even big beat at all. It's more like plunderphonic rock, hip-hop, everything that's just not big beat, basically. Rolling Blackouts by the Go Team. I had a hard time choosing this one, honestly. I mean, the genre doesn't really match, but it does fit the general vibe, I say. Very lo-fi. And there's some real good bangers on here, like Tornado and Apollo Throwdown. Just too good to pass up. So, I guess that's all my recommendations for now. Really just wanted to throw out a random ass video to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Jet Set Radio Future, which I know not even Sega's gonna fucking do that. But anyway, I hope these album recommendations tide you over while we don't get a new game announcement. I also have a Spotify playlist that I'll link in the description. And go ahead and enjoy yourself some music.